We are definitely getting into the penultimate hours before the National Assembly Finance Committee tables the very controversial Finance Bill 2024. Before that, William Ruto will hold a crisis meeting with the UDA or the Kenya Kwanza parliamentarians to chart the way forward about the very bill. At the same time, Kenyans are threatening, together with the activists, that they are going to occupy parliament and its environs. My plea is only one. Our police officers must not allow themselves to be used to harass, to maim, and or to kill fellow Kenyans because they are fighting for the betterment of every Kenyan. If you see people on the street, if you see people near Parliament building, please don't use excessive force. But then, ladies and gentlemen, Kenyans have been composing songs, and it is Twitter where revolution will begin. Our president is now being described as a flying president. He visits our country for a moment. He sojourns, so to speak, and then he flies again. People also know him as someone who does not keep his promises, and he can lie blatantly without blinking. And because he had plunged himself into the international arena, even trying to masquerade himself as the new Pan-Africanist, Kenyans also decided to compare his style of leadership to the other presidents. And in this case, something happened from West Africa. To be very precise, the youngest president in the world, and that is the president of Senegal. I think the Burkina Faso one is the youngest, followed by the Senegalese president. As William Ruto is busy raising taxes, something is happening in Senegal that has really shaken William Samoei Ruto. You know, when William Ruto was campaigning, he really criticized the former government, in which he was also a deputy president. And he said that he said that Uhuru Kenyatta was raising taxes because he did not understand the predicament of the common man. And William Ruto pleaded with the electorates to give him a chance to form a government, and he promised that he would not raise any taxes.
Mimi nataka niwaambie hii mafuta inaongezwa usiku na mchana. Mimi nataka niwaeleze ya kwamba these people don't understand the damage they are doing to the people and the economy of Kenya. Kwa hii taxes wanaongeza usiku na mchana. Na mimi nataka niwaulize watu wa hapa Manga, tafadhali, mkiona tumesimama hapa mbele yenu, tunawaambia ya kwamba tutengeneze hiyo serikali inakuja ambayo inaelewa lugha ya mwananchi wa kawaida. Watu wa Manga, mko tayari?
Yes, that is the man who promised heaven and he cannot even deliver hell. The flying president, the lying president, the fake Pan-Africanist, Zakayo Mtosha, Ushuru. Those are the names that Kenyans have given William Samoei Ruto. And at some point he was saying that he does not care. As long as he is doing his things, as long as he's in the steering wheel, he does not care. He promised very many other things that he has not, implemented. But when you go to West Africa, people are trying to compare President Bassirou Diomaye to the kind of leadership that William Ruto is offering. This is what is reported. And when you look, I tried to compare several mainstream media reporting on this, and the message is the same. They are saying Senegal's president reduces taxes and announces price cuts. I think Kenyans would be very happy to hear such headlines in our country, but that will not. And it goes ahead to say that Senegal's new president, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, sets new measures to lower country's cost of living, Taxes and customs duties imposed on importers removed to subsidize price cuts on essential commodities. And when you read further, the essential commodities that were affected positively by tax cuts are things like fertilizer was there, and then the basic commodities like rice, sugar, maize flour, just the very basic commodities. Because when the duo, the Diomaye and Sonko campaigned together, they promised that they would reduce taxes. They promised that they would alleviate the level of poverty and the pangs of hunger. Because in that country, the level of unemployment is just high. Just the same way William Ruto promised Kenyans that when he gets to power, he would look into their affairs. He would be part and parcel. He was the chief hustler. Now, when you look at what is happening in Senegal and you compare to William Ruto, both of them campaigned on a platform of youthfulness. William Ruto used to say that Raila is old, he does not have ideas that will help this country. Just the same way the Senegalese president promised his electorates. Now, the difference between William Ruto and Diomaye is that William Ruto promised and he has negated those promises. He says he will not raise taxes, then he comes round and tells us that since independence, we have never had a president who was ready to make hard decisions, and therefore he's the one who wants to fill that gap so that he leaves Kenya at the right path. Yet when you look at things, things are on a very wrong trajectory. Investors are flying out. The rate of unemployment is skyrocketing and life has become unbearable. But for the Senegalese president, he promised and he has obeyed his part of the bargain. People had trust in him because they were tired of the old regime. And now, when he got that power, he never forgot his people. William Ruto has completely forgotten about the Mamamboga, the hustlers, the borders, even in his appointments. There's a great difference. Number two, the president of Senegal is an independent president. The leadership of that, the executive, is working very independently, devoid of the Western interference. William Ruto is the exact opposite. We are listening to the international community. We do what they say. They have always sung about the problems about the Bretton Woods institutions, the IMF and World Bank. In any nation where you see World Bank and IMF, those nations are stagnated economically. They never grow. They will be stamping a lot of loans and coming with conditions, but those nations never grow. Tell me any one nation that has grown as a result of their dalliance with, or its dalliance with the Bretton Woods institutions. They don't grow. And it also goes a long way to prove that for a president to become very independent, he must have been elected unilaterally by the electorates, by citizens themselves. And that is why the president of Senegal can afford to sit down with these people and say, I promised this, I promised that, and I'm going to do it. In the case of Kenya, our servers have never been opened, and there is a general feeling that the Meg Whitman, the former IEBC chairman of Fela Chebukati, and Madam Hot Air, Madam Kome, are the people who connived together to give William Ruto his victory. And therefore, he does not care about the people who he campaigned and hoodwinked that he was going to form a government of the people, for the people, by the people. He's under siege. He's dancing to the international tune. In other words, we have become a Western puppet. We are never independent. That is the difference between this president called Bassirou Diomaye Faye. The Senegalese president is independent. our president is a puppet, because you must please those who elected you, those who aided your victory. In the place of William Samoei Ruto, he has proved to us that he is endearing himself to the international community. He has accepted GMO, genetically modified organisms, against the chagrin of the country. He is eroding our rich culture and allowing very slowly and through the backdoor LGBTQ. Through the Supreme Court, they have declared that these people have got the right to association. Where you stay, haven't you realized that it is becoming a public affair? They no longer care. After all, mind your business. And this is all because our president allowed it, and they know. And Meg Whitman now is supporting it through NGOs and activists who are saying that we must not discriminate people on the basis of their sexual orientation. And that is why I like Museveni. He has also allowed our state corporations to be sold. It is underway. And the first thing William Ruto did was to ensure that there was another bill, I don't know, something 2024, that allows the president to sell state parastatals without consulting parliament. They don't have any approval on it. So our president is listening to America. He's taking policemen to Haiti. He's taking soldiers to Yemen. And this is because those are the people who aided his victory. As for Basiro, he is endearing himself to the people because the people defied the system and elected him. And so William Ruto, as he tries to juxtapose himself, he will realize that both of them are young, but one is a truthful man and one is a liar. One is independent, the other is a puppet. And so, ladies and gentlemen, William Ruto, as he tries to please the international community, as he tries to make those speeches, have you listened to William Ruto when he's making speeches at the international arena, when he meets the African countries? You will not believe he's the one. Just like he said, he will not raise taxes. And so, I want to congratulate the president of Senegal. As to William Ruto, we are still praying that things get better. I don't know how, because there is no deliberate effort to make them better. I don't know what you think, but that's my take.